Are we having fun yet? This is great. I'm so happy that we're here, and I don't know why we didn't think of Shasta before in Northern California because it really is a powerful place, and you can feel the energy, and it's really amazing. And there's a lot of tunnels. You know, we're in Miners Town on Miners Street, and you look at the pictures on the wall of miners, and then it reminds me that there are tunnels, all these tunnels underground, and that these tunnels have crystals, and I keep coming back, and gold. They're lined with gold, these tunnels, all the way back to Egypt. And it turns out that Shasta is the capital of North America. It's the capital, and I think the Archangel Gabriel is in charge of Shasta, and Saint Germain too, and but also Archangel Gabriel, and also it's a power vortex. There's a ley line that goes all the way from here that runs towards Florida. My friend Ken Rolla was telling me about that of freshandalive.com, and so it's no mistake that we're all here together in this powerful place, and it's really I'm really happy to introduce my friend Dr. Robert Newton. He's a Scorpio like me, and we keep agreeing with each other and laughing all the time. And I'm really into numerology, which is Gematria, and imagine the language of God. Okay, scientists are going out into space expecting to find chaos, and they're finding a grand pattern, a grand design, and that everything makes sense in numbers. And see, people don't speak the same languages all over the world, but they can do the math, and math is a language. And when you look at the numbers, it proves that there is unity in diversity, and that we're all connected. So when you look at his information, he's working backwards and proving all the things that we've been talking about using gematria and adding up the numbers, because it makes sense that I'm a number one personality and I'm standing here on stage talking to you, and it makes sense that he's a Scorpio like me because they're natural detectives. And it's no mistake. I mean, you can't talk to your friends about these things. You have to come to conferences to meet other people like you who speak the same language. So let me introduce my friend Robert, Dr. Robert Taylor Newton. Well, that's another. I worked for Dr. Taylor, Dr. Robert Newton, and thank you for coming. Love you, man.
Thank you. I love you too. And I must say, all I'm going to pretty much do is, and more, is I'm going to prove all the stuff that was said by the Sufi master and by the other people. And I'm going to do it with scientific stuff. I mean, I'm a spiritual man too. I was psychic when I was 5 years old, and everyone told me I was insane, and maybe I still am, but I produced this, so whatever works, works. So the talk is using actually the linguistic mathematics of Gematria, Kriya Kundalini Yoga, which I've been studying, brushing up on my Sufi, and there's definitely a connection between them, including Kundalini and Mantra. Pranayama, which is Kriya Kundalini Yoga breathing technique that I'll explain. Sanskrit mantras, 72 names of God, gemstones, pyramids, to open and mend broken hearts. And I will explain literally through the numbers what love really is. And Valentine's Day is another cool thing I'm going to cover, because I used to think it was a bunch of bunk, but apparently I was full of bunk, and Valentine's Day is more germane than I am. So this is my newest book. I think it's the 9th or 10th book. There's several at my editor and a screenplay I've done. Also, I have a lot of different degrees in different things. And the third degree, Theta CP, is consciousness practitioner. And this is an iteration of theta healing that I felt was lacking, so I made it more like worthwhile. So again, I said Gematria basically is assigning a letter sequentially to each letter of a language. I do English and Hebrew Gematria. And A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, and ascending to Z at 26. So when we take all the numbers from a word, and especially for phrases, we start getting all kinds of really cool things. And this is a really old discipline, at least goes back to Egypt. And I'm sure it was used in Persia. The Persians probably knew more about alchemy than anybody else, and I've studied a lot about that, and even the great European alchemists talk about how they did. So there's another cool connection right there. So the word heart in Gematria, Hebrew Gematria, comes to 194 and gives us a commensurate phrase that says, I am Lord, ashes, create, for dance, Pleiadian DNA, and that's damn good, diligent, and the gold. And in English Gematria, heart equals 52 with abracadabra, which is a word that actually will bring things into manifestation. Hello, I'm going to talk about that. I had an epiphany just recently. Pearl and salt, which are related to each other, ashes and Pleiades. So we have two overlapping things. I'm sorry. Every once in a while, PowerPoint does bizarre things to me, so I'll explain the stuff at the top because the title's over there. So Pleiadian DNA is both revealed in English and Hebrew Gematria, and Pleiadian DNA and Pleiade. And then we also have an overlap between the word ashes and both the Gematria forms right there. So what this would indicate as far as the ashes is that there's this myth that's actually a real reality. One of the Greek philosophers talks about how I have never seen the phoenix consumed, but I've heard it related many times that the phoenix goes up in flames every 1,000 years and reconstitutes itself from the ashes, which is an alchemy for sure. And Eric and I being Scorpios, we know a lot about that because the Scorpio form has three forms. It has that nasty scorpion, and then it has the eagle that flies above and picks on prey from above, and then it's consumed in the flames in the phoenix and regenerates itself. And this indicates that being consumed in the flames and the ashes therefrom is a rite of purification. And we have this all through my yoga background and through Hinduism. They have these yagna ceremonies where after they're done, you take the ash and you put 3 hash marks on your forehead like that. I've been involved in a lot of that. So that's going to be one indication that those ashes and the flames of the Kundalini are definitely a way to open a heart. But that's just the beginning. I have a whole bunch of stuff. I think I'm going to have to go a lot faster. So that allows us to leave behind when we're consumed in the flames. That allows us to leave all that baggage behind, and that allows us to open our hearts. Now, you don't have to literally be burned up in the flames. It can be a symbolic thing. What the process that we just had here with our great Sufi master was an actual purification. I could feel it. My associate Andre could feel it. Even my wife can feel it, and she doesn't often feel that stuff. So she could feel the energy. We created a lot of energy, and that energy is what causes the brain to go and shift into higher levels of consciousness. And then this, Yreka, it opens. So it's basically something as per Bab Lamad, which is the 43rd name of God. So in the Torah we have the 72 names of God. In the Sufi we have Islam we have the 99 names of God, and in Hinduism we have the 25 names of Shiva. But it all fits together, and I feel so honored to be here. I just feel like I'm a, I'm very addicted to learning. I'm obsessive compulsive about it. Not almost anything else, but that I am. So I acknowledge that. So furthermore, we know that the Pleiadian DNA, this is a culture that's believed and actually known to be highly evolved and peace-loving. And peace-loving people are people that come out of the heart because they don't have time to get angry and go to war and call each other racists and bigots and all this other propaganda and baloney that only divides us. And I felt that we really came together. What happened here today, I mean, I really felt it's going to help. It's really going to help the scene. Really, what we need to do is have a conference on the steps of Congress over there and actually just create so much love that they have to like each other instead of fighting each other, getting paid for doing absolutely nothing. Pathetic. So I'll let it go, though. So they're basically operated in 4D and 5D. For sure, we know that the people from Sirius, which comes to 190, is also commensurate with the fourth dimension. So we know that there's a thing there, and I know just from contacting those people, I'm not going to say how, but it's been more than once, that and they're so evolved, and they're so from the heart, you can't hardly even stand it. It's making me break up with tears of joy. So, and we also have references in Dr. Hertak's book, The Keys of Enoch, about the evolved status of Pleiades. And everything, I'm pretty sure you'd agree with me, Eric, everything that ever came here, the Sumerians, the Anunnaki, the people that came to India 1.95 billion years ago, and I talk about in my book, Beyond the Mist of Time, When Trees Ruled the Earth, we come from a high operating system, and I'm going to show you in a little bit how we're actually perfect, which would make opening our heart pretty easy to do. So, yeah, the book of Enoch is out of the Bible, and it's a really cool book. You can read it online. It's where Archangel Michael anoints Enoch, who becomes Metatron on the tree of life. I believe with olive oil. I talk about in my book the immortality prophecy about what anointing oils might do, and I pretty much ascertained through Gematria that that's what it was. So I'm going to skip the part of that. Gold is a very highly active mineral. I'm going to show you a picture of it in a minute, and you'll see why it has, I think, 72 atoms, 72 electrons and 72 atoms. And it's that 72 electrons creating all that electricity. That'll affect this. That's a key. And this is showing it's a key. So I already told you what abracadabra is. So the word hello is another one of those words that came up about heart or open heart. And I'm going to contend that this could be just the word of saying hello to someone here or someone you don't even know is a way to receive blessings, because I found 80 to 90% of the time when I do this, the people will say hello. And I can almost sense the people that need it. And it changes their whole day. And then they give it back to you. It creates a damn vortex. It's there. There's no way around it. It's not a damn vortex. It's a damn wonderful vortex. So there's another phrase in there is that I am Lord, and that would be Yad, 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 the 22nd name of God, which is the power and the energy of God to mend our heart and open our heart. Pretty soon I'm going to show you how we actually are connected through God through the 59th name of God, Heresh Chet, which means connected to the light. Let's see. So that those names were for heart. For heart opening, we have in Hebrew Gematria, we have 405, and we have some really good names. We have Eternal Lord, Music Angel, the Realm of Fire, the Breath of Fire, Free Masonic Lodge, Anunnaki Inky, God of Creation, and Learning to Dance. In English Gematria, for heart opening at 132, we have the Zodiac Code of God. We have astrology, the rapture, the living God, holy couple. That could have been Jesus and Mary Magdalene, which I talk in depth about in Search of the Hidden Codes of God in the Mathematics of Gematria. The flower of life, Yad Yad Yad, sweet dreams, 101, endless love, and my favorite, Valentine's Day, and good mirror too. So here is the gold right there. You can see that it's densely packed. When we get this is taken with I believe, a helium ion microscope. So it shows us a lot. This, by the way, is the substructure of all creation. This is part of it, this form. It's a hexagon. Okay, so we have music, the word music, and the word music angel will transport us into alpha and theta waves. And I'm going to show you some brain scans a little bit down the line here. So I know I'm giving you a lot of text. I apologize, but I'm kind of trying to build a foundation on this. I'm just going to skip through this a little bit. Well, we could say that the realm of fire, which is yagna, or fire, and kundalini is from the intelligent cosmic vibration. This literally comes from an ancient Indian text about 1,500 years ago, the Bhagavad Gita, and from the translation of the page 369 of the Paramahansa Yogananda translation. That's where it talks about that the cosmic, intelligent cosmic vibration is Agna, which is light, Yagna, which is fire, and Om, which is the sound of creation. And I'm going to show you why it's a sound of creation too. I have some cool things coming up. So learning to dance is related to four dance. So preparing to dance and learning to dance. Preparing to dance would maybe put you in alpha brainwaves. Learning to dance is definitely going to take you into a deeper level. The deeper you get your brainwave, which is really only consciousness, the deeper you go, and the more the heart will be open, the more creative the mind will be, the more problems you'll be able to solve, and vastly more psychic abilities, including Akashic connection, which I use all the time. Right now I'm getting blasted with information to share. We can basically conclude that the importance of dance by the preponderance of this via the mathematics of Gematria is basically one way that's really going to help us. We will never find as much happiness in the third dimension as in the fourth dimension. I intend to show you why in just a minute. And what else? So there's a direct correlation between the amount of atomic geometries that are in a dimension as to the possibilities and the abilities that are allowed. So this is okay. So this is a walking brainwave on the. Could use this thing since I have it. So on the left here we have a brain basically in possibly very high alpha, maybe about 13 hertz, something like that. Over here we have going into deeper alpha. The red is going into theta. So that's just from walking. But watch this. This is from dancing. So this shows over here to the right. This shows ADHD, which is believed to be a compromised mental state. I know so much otherwise. It's insulting to those people. They're highly functioning. You agree with me, Eric, that these people have a level? So with no ADHD is to the left, we see vastly enhanced energy characteristics. I believe these pictures were taken from fingerprints, but we see a vastly deeper energy field. When you get into the red, you're getting into theta. And these people can do amazing things when you give them the ability to go to these higher dimensions. This happens in dance and music and mantra. This is a brainwave scan from music. Basically, the wrong button. This is basically beta. This is moving into alpha, 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 theta, theta. So this proves the usefulness of it. I've always known it. I've always known that dancing made me feel good. I always know music made me feel really good, invariably. But now we have the indicators. This has to do with the Rwandan. These American psychologists went over to Rwanda after a civil war and trying to help the people, and they were trying to explain to the psychologists, you're not relating to us. And they basically said, we relate to sun, music, and drumming. So we just saw what that can do and will do and does do. Okay, well, let's go into the Free Masonic Lodge. This is one of the other names that's coming up for heart opening. And this takes us to the Hermetic knowledge and ceremonies, which promote the idea of universal shared energies that pervades the world. So that definitely has to do with opening the heart. As per Hermes Trismegistus, the Emerald Tablet, true without falsehood, that which is above, which is that which is below, and that which is below is that which is above, for the performance of the miracles of the one thing. So there's, in all ways, this fits together. And that means really that we're all together, that we're one with the atoms. The atoms are one with us. We're one with other people. And this is how you get to this. When you realize that, when you realize that we are unified, maybe we should start acting like it. Duh. So I said on this, God equals us equals Samash Yad Tet, which is making miracles. That's the third name of God in the Hebrew tradition, in the Torah. So, so I should also mention Kriya Kundalini Pranayama. As far as I can tell, I'm still trying to figure indication to the otherwise. This is a very deep breath that I was initiated into in 1993, but I was doing it 10 years before I was initiated. So I'm guessing that I brought it through as an ability from a previous incarnation. I've spent many incarnations in India. Whenever I see the Ganges River, I start crying. So, and the reason that this breath is so important is that it's a 1-to-2 ratio, or traditionally called 8-0-16-0. So you breathe in for 8 and you breathe out for 16. And that's really hard to do unless you know the mudras that I taught my associate, Andre. And it makes it possible. Otherwise, you're never going to get there. And I teach those things. I'm more than willing to teach people for a very, very, very fair price. All the monies I get, I'm basically going to be using our project for bringing humanity together and showing people they don't have to be depressed and they don't have to hate each other. It's such a waste. And so this is a picture of me after doing 20 minutes of Kriya Kundalini Pranayama. Notice at the top there's purple and there's violet, purple, indigo, lavender. On the sides there's yellow and orange. Yellow is happiness, orange is happiness, and green, which is healing. So I already knew it was powerful, but I like to be able to indicate how and why it would be. Let's see. So, well, just one of the things talked about zodiac code of astrology, and I'm postulating that if we check our astrology sign, we'll be able to find the strong points that allow us to more easily open our points. So you'll always have strong tendencies and weak tendencies, but they can all be raised up. It's not really that hard. So Valentine's Day could facilitate an endless love, as we shall soon see. And that'll be the next slide. So, in good mirror, this is an important word, because this is the thing everyone misses. The people that like to criticize everyone else. It allows us to see ourselves in a true light. And this is how. The flaws that we see in other people are the flaws in our own selves. Okay? And people will rail against this. Hell, I spent most of my life trying to not take responsibility, but in the end, we really need to. So what this mirror, when other people are criticizing us, they're really criticizing themselves for either active things that they're not doing, or that they are doing, or things that they recently got through. So this is a fun part for me. So Valentine's Day in Hebrew Gematria is 1415. And it doesn't matter, again, what order you put the letters. It still will come out the same. This is kind of like, Gematria is kind of like numerology on steroids. Numerology is great, and I'll often use it to indicate, it indicates certain things. You can see certain trends. You know where someone is by what their numbers are. So the path of light in the house of the hidden place, Jesus Christos, or Jesus Christ, or actually more accurate, Yeshua, but still equivalent. Kisses for Jesus, divine destiny, spirit of salvation, bind love, transcendental, victory angel, pyramid of love, and the sword of karma. So we can kind of summarize in the endless love of Valentine, or Valentine's Days, kisses for Jesus, and a heavenly sign, divine destiny, spirit of salvation given to us by the angel of victory, and binding love, transcendental, pyramid of love. Now this is really interesting. I learned this personally and quite unexpectedly in 1984. I found out after I went there that different pyramid angles have affect a different part of the body. And in fact, the pyramid angle of 51.52 degrees, or rounded out to 51 or 52 degrees, which I do have some pyramids in the back actually that are exactly at that angle, resonates with the heart chakra. This is from the Rosy Tablets by Dr. Benjamin. And in that angle, so this is again a magnetic field photography of me using the pyramid angle of 52 degrees, and we have a lot of life force. This could be life force, sexual energy. We have lots of happiness and stuff right here. So it definitely creates a happiness around the heart, as the yellow is basically encompassing that area. We already did that. So here is the here is a Great Pyramid of Egypt. And yeah, in November 1984, I was actually doing Tai Chi at the very top up there. Yeah, I actually have a picture of it, but I couldn't find it to put in the PowerPoint, but I was up there. And the Egyptian guide that was with me was like, it was like thinking, wow, this guy has gone completely off. Maybe he'll jump off the pyramid. It's not that hard to climb because it doesn't have the casing stone. Kefron has a casing stone, so It's hard. Menkera, the smallest of the three that are part of Orion's belt, that's also easy to, because they were taking the casing stones. Some of them, I think, went into the Muhammad Ali Mosque and other Muslim mosques. And Saeed David Farman, our host and the presenter of the 5D, was talking about, guess where I'm inside of? I'm inside the sarcophagus in the Great Pyramid. And remember, when I went there, I knew nothing about Egypt. I was a clean slate. I knew nothing about sarcophagus, pyramid angles, any of that kind of stuff. And when I laid down inside of that thing, I went flying outside of my body, and I don't think I've ever been as happy in my whole life as I was in that place. So I felt very ascended. I felt very connected to my soul and to my monad, which is the spark or the Kundalini that actuates the soul or gives it life. So I'm kind of getting emotional, so I better move on. Sort of karma has to do with action and reaction, which is Newton's third law. It's a golden rule. It's a golden mean. It basically means that you're going to get back what you give. So if you give love, you'll get more love back. And if you don't give love, you're not going to get it back. That's what's going on in our government right now. It'd be really easy to get together. Really easy. Not a hard task. I just give them all a bunch of ayahuasca and program their brains. I would never do that. So even if we... and so here's another thing. So even if we have to force the idea of giving love, it equates to getting love in return. It's the same thing as the hello effect. If I say hello to you, I got a high possibility, even if I don't know you at all. I do it all the time on the beach when I'm going down surfing. I'm walking along the beach. I just do it for the halibut, see what happens. And it always works out good. I've had no negative reaction. And I look like a Sasquatch, so I already don't. I already have a strike against me. Yeah.
There's a wonderful program called the Bach Saga, and it's the first family. The old, you see Bach, the goat, on the beers, and you wonder why, and it's a family symbol. And the Bach family was the first family, and when the last Eeyore Bach was alive, he was the last survivor. And when he was alive, he says, now that I'm the last surviving family member, I have to tell you the story. So I want you to go on YouTube and look at the Bach Saga, B-O-C-K Saga, because he talks about Finland and Helsinki and how hell was demonized and made bad, but when really it's a good word. Yeah. Helios, the sun, hello. And it really is a wonderful thing that he's describing, and I wanted to just throw that, connect it with it, because I want to be the Beavis and Butthead and say, look. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Also, the word evil does not mean bad acts. It means ignorance of not knowing better, being ignorant. So see, this is how these puppet masters and these people that want to keep us divided, this is how they use these words. They take a really good word and then they pejoritize it. They take the word F-U-C-K and make it pejorative. They make it something really horrible and bad. And this is just how they operate. It that goes on and on. Giving love equates to getting love in return, as I was saying, working to open our hearts. So we basically have, with a woman and a man, we have a plus and a minus electrical charge. And this creates magnetic attraction. This creates electricity. This electricity puts us in the higher brainwave. That higher brainwave allows this to open. You can't stop it once you get there. You could try, but it won't work.
Heart is more powerful. You have the Secret movie, And where they got it wrong is to think positive. It's not think positive, it's feel positive. Because our heart is 100,000 times more powerful than the magnetic electrical energy from our brain. And it ripples out beyond the edges of the universe. So you're basically transmuting it by vibrating the shit out of it, but with a higher frequency vibration. So you're protecting yourself. When you forgive people, you're protecting your heart, yourself, and you're taking it to another level, and you're giving them the space to evolve. So what he's saying is so wonderful, and I want to just add little things to verify. So sorry to interrupt again.
I know you're not, but it's, I don't have a problem with it. So it's this electricity that we feel during X's. And I'm not supposed to say that word, so I spelled it backwards. Reconstitute the words, and you'll know what it means. So this is really fun. In the English Gematria of 151, we have the fifth dimension, and this is where all the really cool stuff really happens, and this is where I spend most of my time in my life, because I really don't like it down here in this third dimension. I call it the third dimension, and I'll show you why, because it has lesser possibility. So why would I want to waste my time here? But I need to be here to do my job, but I'm not going to have my consciousness in it. So we have Jesus. So we have commensurate from the Hebrew Gematria and the words of Valentine's Day 151 in English Gematria, have Jesus. And it's beautiful how this comes together. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't even have asked for more than what I got. Jesus and I am the Son of God. So we have the Jesus Christ and I am the Son of God in Hebrew and English Gematria, or Jesus Christos or Yeshua in Hebrew Gematria at 1415. Then we have there is no death, related to the above, as Jesus showed us. And as Hermes Trismegistus tells us in the Corpus Hermeticum, why do you not reach for what you are, the immortality that you are? He's almost excoriating us, but he's doing it in a nice way. Something hard for Scorpio to do. So we have the Lord's Prayer, and we have heavenly signs. We have the Spirit of Salvation. And again, that's taking the English Gematria of the Lord's Prayer and the heavenly signs in 1415. We have Sophia, wisdom, feminine wisdom. This is a heart wisdom. So this is a feminine thing, this heart right here. It has probably a negative polarity to it, but not negative bad, but just as an electrical charge that women are born with, and men are born with a positive charge. Probably about 10 minutes. Yeah, I've been wasting any time. So I'm going to go through some of this. I'm going to just move on so we can get going right here. But you can read it quick. Quick. Okay. Now, here's what I'm talking about in dimensional possibilities. This is from this most brilliant woman I'd really like to meet. I've been begging her on her website to just be able to thank her for what she shared. But this shows you, right here on the left, this shows you the atomic geometries, the 9 geometric forms of creation on the third dimension. Over here we have the fifth dimension, where I like to be, and where some of my good friends like to be. And you see considerable more geometries, and you also see a more fluidity to it. So this dimension, the third dimension, this is not dense matter. This is dense energy. But when you get into 4D and 5D, then it becomes readily apparent that you're not what you've been told you are. And that limits us inherently. At least all this babble about you have to die and you're going to get sick and you're going to degenerate. No, I don't think so. This is eighth dimension geometry versus ninth dimension. Okay, the ninth dimension is equivalent with the ninth paradise, which is a high is the residence of the high angels, including Archangel Michael and Metatron at the top of the tree of life. Notice how it just keeps getting more and more complex. So now I'm just going to talk a little bit about what love is. In English Gematria of 54, love equals sun. And we all know that sun makes a lot of light. So we know right away what some people have been hinting, some people have actually said here, that there's direct correlation between light and love and light. So it's a symbiotic relationship. So if you want more love, I would say you need more light, as per Yreka connected to the light. And one of the ways to do that, very powerful, is the Kundalini Pranayama that I teach, that I have a flyer for on in the back. So we have that. We have the Sanskrit mantras, including Gayatri, Mantra, Mrittyunjaya, which I was doing this morning over here. Basically to apparitions, but whatever. We have the 72 names of God, Hey Resh-Chet, and Bob, Hey Bob, which Bob, Hey Bob is perfection, and Hey Resh-Chet is connected to the light. We have crystals and gemstones, and we have the pyramid, what we talked about before. So I talked about the Kundalini Pranayama breath, but this is important. So you breathe in for 8, and then you breathe out for 16. And there's certain things called it infuses the body with more oxygen, more hydrogen, more prana, more Kundalini, or Yagna, Agna, and Om. Again, that intelligent cosmic design that I talked about. And this goes into the bloodstream. So when you're bringing the breath in and you're letting it out slowly, this allows more of it to be infused in the bloodstream, and then it's powered around there. There's also other forces of magnetic oxidation up and down the spine right here that allow that to happen as well. So this is me after doing 20 minutes of pranayama. I think I showed this. Okay. This is my Satguru Babaji Nagaraj. My deceased wife, Charlotte Ann Newton Smith, used to regularly invoke him into our house in her meditation area. And I've done it once or twice myself, but not like she did. This is me with Paramahansa Yogananda, who did the Self-Realization Fellowship, which was really important for raising consciousness. For 9 months after he passed, his body was undecayed. And another person that I admire immensely, Mary Baker Eddy, who wrote Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures. Same thing. So this body could be re-inhabited if the person came back to do it. The pranayama breath should be done 1 round to 16 times. To get the most benefit, it needs to be done 108. So if you do 16 times by 7 rounds, 112 rounds is going to kind of get you to the promised land, and it needs to be conjoined with the Eka Nalai Mudra, which is a certain position you put the eyes in, which will immediately take you to theta, and the Keshari Mudra, or the Nali Mudra, which is a tongue position inside the mouth, which is essential to make it happen. And there's my class thing, one of my websites, www.drrobertnewton.com. So just the Valentine's Day gets us into 151 and all the cool things that are involved with that. Let me just show one or a couple other things. This is really important. This shows you the power of the word Om. If you take nothing else, cymatic form. So it creates a Sri Yantra, which is well known in India. Anyone that's a Hindu has seen this. And the Om is a primal sound of creation. And so this is what we get. Let me show you this on the right. This is a symbolic representation with lotus accoutrement and circular around it. Here, same geometric forms, even something similar. This is done by putting a speaker under a table of sand. So this shows the power of the word Om on a brain tomography. Over on the right here, we have theta into, or alpha, lower, higher consciousness, but lower than theta right there. I won't go into the other ones. This also shows the power of the word Om, the 8 geometric forms and the water crystals. I believe this was photographed by Dr. Jens Henney? No, something like, I'll get it in a minute. This shows you what happens on the atomic level. This is a helium ion microscope picture taken by Dr. Edwin Muller in 1953. And it shows, it does represent those 9 geometric forms of creation. This is a little easier to see right here, where they took and they put the picture and made a matrix out of it. So the lines were the colored lines were superimposed, but it supports what Valery P. Kondratov talks about in Gematria of a uniform field. This is a Gayatri Mantra. I hope I get to do it tonight. I won't do it now because I know we're on for time. I couldn't do this too much. It's not any work to do this. It's a joy to do it. Again, it's going to put you in those higher consciousness because every mantra starts out with Om. And AUM is way more powerful than AUM is way more powerful than OM. So Om rather than Om. Om. Yeah. I used to do toning. I still do. I work with professional musicians, and they made me very conscious of how to use the vowels to get more cymatics out of it.
Thank you. When you go say Om, when you circulate it in your upper jaws and your brain, it vibrates better to shake the pineal gland and maybe crack it. So it's. I had situations it did. So I had occasions with Om I did crack. Yeah, I could hear the cracking. So when you can hear the cracking of pineal gland in your brain, that cracking, is cracking.
I also wanted to add, when they say Amen, it's really the evil Amun cult in Egypt. Okay, so it's really not Amen, the cosmic vibrator. It's Om, and Om is the cosmic vibration. It transcends, and it's Om, not Amen. They changed it to be different because the Amun cult is the ones that started. Right. Yeah, but the Amun is the evil Amun cult, but the Om ties in everything together and makes it brings it to a nice close of your talk. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
This is the 72 names of God. This is in Hebrew. I know how to do most of the names in Hebrew now. It's a sacred language, as is the Sanskrit mantras. And I was hearing equivalencies what Jonas was doing today. I was hearing I'm good at putting things together that most people would miss. Many similarities between both the Sanskrit and the Hebrew. Yeah. All right. Telomeres? Oh, you want to talk about telomeres? Being happy and having your heart open, guess what it does? Yeah, but how does it do it? Okay, telomeres are these things that are at the end of the chromosomes in the DNA. Huh? No, I haven't put the telomeres. Oh, yeah, I did have it up there, didn't I? Yeah. There's your telomeres, and there you see the DNA code. Yeah, and that's created by telomerase enzyme. And what makes telomerase enzyme, boys and girls? Oh, telomerase enzyme is made by being happy, doing Sanskrit mantra, doing the 72 names of God, doing chanting, doing dancing, doing singing. Yes, the telomeres, what they found out from cancer research, this is all in my book, The Immortality Prophecy. I didn't get any of my books here. Like I'm trying to teleport them here, but they're not coming. I got them halfway and then they fell. So, and I didn't get them all the way here from my place in Grover Beach to here. So in transit, they didn't make it. Because I can move myself really easy, but I've never tried to move objects. So, and so after about 50 replications of your cells, it starts to deteriorate unless you have this regular bathing of the telomerase enzyme, which keeps the telomeres long, which provides accurate and adequate cell replacement. And this is why they believe cancer happens, is because this all breaks down. Of course, cancer's all in your head, cuckoo, cuckoo, not really being crazy. It's just being, angers and emotions. No, I had cancer, and that's what I did. I created it myself. I'm a really good creator. So I know what happens. Okay, so we'll do more. No, I paid him to sit in the audience, so I got to give him a few spots. That was the deal. No, I don't pay, but I might beg. I think a lot of it's in the Sufi. I think dancing as much as you can, singing as much as you can. I know I'm not a great singer, but because I've done so much lately, that I know I'm getting better. So it doesn't matter. You could be walking, running, movement. Basically, yeah, the dance, the music, all those kind of things. So I immerse myself in music. I will dance spontaneous. Heck, I dance when I'm driving. I'm going like this. Okay. Thank you.
That was really wonderful. Thank you very much. It's so important to listen to these things. And yes, there is more. Dr. Glassman. Yes, is your yes. You can is this yours? Let's go 5 minutes and then we'll set it up so we have to change the tapes and stuff. So thank you. And about happiness. You can't ask anybody what's the secret to happiness. It's